Good morning. Today is the 13th Sunday of church time. I know that since all the orders to close doors, to distance ourselves, to wear masks, all those things have happened, for many of us, we've learned sort of a new way to live. And things that we never thought about before, little things, become big deals. They become important. And I thought about what Jesus says in the gospel today. Jesus says, who is my follower? Who is doing the will of my Father in heaven? And then Jesus says, if you give a cup of cold water to a person because they believe in me, you're going to be saved. A cup of cold water. But I think for many of us during this time, it has been those little things, those little signs of generosity, of kindness, of patience, of forgiveness. Those seemingly little things have reminded us of what's really important. And so when we read that first reading today from the second book of Kings, that is from the Jewish Bible, it is again this beautiful story of very simple hospitality. That this family welcomes Elisha, the prophet, and provides him what's really simple. Not fancy, not expensive, but simple. And Elisha answers, God will bless you in a way you can't imagine, you can't expect. And it happens. Good reminder to us that what's important in life often is what the world sort of overlooks, doesn't see, but God sees. And how do I know that? In the Gospel of St. Matthew, Jesus gives us a vision of the end of the world. And what does Jesus say? When the Son of Man comes from heaven, riding in the clouds with all of the holy ones, he will gather all the peoples of the world, and he will separate them just as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. And then the Son of Man will say to those on his right, come, enjoy the kingdom God has prepared for you. Why? Because I was hungry, and you gave me to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me to drink. I was naked, and you gave me clothes. I was a person you didn't know, but you welcomed me. I was in prison, and you visited me. I was sick, and you cared for me. And the people will look and say, Lord, when did we see you hungry and give you food? When did we see you thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you naked and clothe you, or a person we didn't know and welcome you? When did we visit you in prison or the hospital? And God's Son will say, every time you did those things for the poorest of your brothers and sisters, you did that for me. And then the Lord will look at those on his left and say, go away. Just go away. I was hungry. You didn't feed me. I was thirsty. You didn't give me to drink. I was naked, you didn't give me clothes. I was a person you didn't know, and you ignored me. I was in prison, I was sick, you never visited me. And the people will say, well, Lord, when did we not feed you or give you to drink? When did we not clothe you or welcome you or visit you or care for you? And the Lord will say, when you refused to feed your brothers and sisters, to give them a drink, to clothe them, to welcome them, to visit and care for them, you refused to do that for me. And those on his right will go off to heaven, and those on his left to eternal punishment. Amen.